Hi guys, welcome back to my channel. If you're new, welcome. My name is Vera. Thank you so much for stopping by. Please be sure to consider subscribing to my channel and becoming a part of my YouTube community. Here we love to uplift each other, share knowledge with one another, and just go after those goals. Well, today's video is all about the pros and the cons of owning a salon suite. You clicked on this video because you're probably considering opening a salon suite yourself. You may be a new cosmetology graduate. You may have been working commission. You may have tried the booth rent thing and you're ready for something new. You want to branch out on your own. That's all fine and dandy. I commend you for going after your dreams. But before you decide to do that, let's dig into the pros and cons. Which one y'all want first? Y'all want the pros first? Or y'all want the cons first? I'm the type of person that likes my bad news before my good news. So that being said, we're going to start with the cons of renting a salon suite. Okay, so when I went to sign the lease for my salon suite, that's when I basically got all of the rules of what I could not do in my suite. For example, I cannot have candles. I cannot bring my kids to work with me. So none of that mom boss do what you want when it comes to if I have a child that's sick, or well, I wouldn't want to bring a sick child to school or to work anyway, but if I have a child that doesn't go to school that day or something, they can't come with me. I can't bring them with me while I work, so I won't have to worry about a sitter. I still have to make arrangements because I personally cannot bring my kids to work. Now, if I have a client that has a child, it's my discretion whether or not I allow them to bring their child in if their child is not getting a service. Now, for me, that was a big deal because when I started doing this, my youngest son was not in kindergarten and he was not going to preschool either. So I was just kind of like, oh Lord, what am I going to do with this boy? Like, I thought the whole purpose of having my own business was to be able to set my own rules, but no, not in terms of the space. You also can't play your own music. The company I work for is Salon Loft, and they have their own pre-approved playlist for all of their Salon Loft locations, and I'm pretty sure they control it from somewhere else. If you have a problem with the music, you have to submit an issue to the issue center and they'll go work with it from there. It was kind of a little bit of a bummer for me. I was actually glad that I didn't have to worry about finding music that everybody likes. If the clients don't like a song, I blame Salon Loft. If they love a song, I'm singing it with them. Like, that pressure is taken off of me. But when it comes to certain client experiences that I want to offer for my clients, I can't, if I dim the lights down, it gives a little bit of a mood, you know, calm, jazz playing, lavender essence in the air. But with not being able to light candles, I think we might still be able to use diffusers, but we have to be very conscious of the strong scents and smells that we are using because the other people in the loft can smell them as well. And also, in addition to all the rules that we have, we still have to be conscious of the other stylists around me because the walls in my location do not go all the way up to the ceiling. It is a true loft style situation. So oftentimes I can hear my neighbors' conversations, and that can be a problem sometimes. I've had some problems with my other, loft neighbors and the conversations that they have with their clients, and it like upsets my clients, and I'm just like, oh my God, oh my God, Karen, you did not. No, why would you do that? So that's been an issue. And not all the time is it just what they're saying, but we don't want to know your personal business. We don't want to know your client's personal business, but unfortunately I still have to deal with hearing those things, and so do my clients. So we kind of have to be kind of cautious of what we're saying, what we're talking about in our volume, and hope that our neighbors do the same. Like I said, all loft neighbors ain't equal, and some of them are on some other stuff and they don't care. And it is a problem for me. Also, depending on which loft you get, you may or may not have natural light. I do not have natural light. My loft is on the inside and in the very back of the salon loft location, whereas the ones up front, those are the ones with the windows, but you also have to pay more for those. I know what you're thinking here is, Vera, I want a big loft. I want natural light. I want silence. I want to run my own thing. And while you're still running your own thing, it's just a lot. It's a lot that comes with it when you're using somebody else's space. And with the natural lighting, with the window loss, with the natural light, they're still not all they're cracked up to be. Because it's such a small space and basically your entire wall is window, you pay more because it's a luxury or upgraded space. But in the summer, I hear it's hot as hell. It's hot as Hades in the summer, and you have to put your shades down because you're blinded by the sunlight, so it's basically pointless to have a window. And in the winter, it's cold because you're right by the window. And there are, again, pros and cons that come with that as well. At the end of the day, it just depends on your overall look and how much you're willing to pay. Personally, I would have loved to have a window loft because I love natural lighting and I love having plants in my space. Right now, I only have one plant. It's a bamboo plant, and sometimes I forget to water him and I feel really bad. But I want to have an oasis of greenery everywhere in my space, and I just can't do that with real plants. I have a beautiful vibe going on with my fake plants, but I want real ones, and I don't have real lighting to match that same real plant energy, and it sucks. It really does suck. Since we're on the topic of windows, depending on what state you're in, there are certain rules to whether or not you can actually have signage up on those windows. In my state, we can have them. But again, not everybody has a window. There are only 4 window lofts in my location, and they're kind of small. When a window loft opened for in my location that I could have gotten, I decided not to get it because my space was way bigger, and for $200 more a month, it just wasn't worth it for me. I honestly feel like if I'm gonna be paying much more than what I'm paying, I'm gonna go get my own space. The space is a huge issue for me. I'm working on minimizing the things that I have in my area. As you guys can see, I did do some remodeling. Well, not remodeling, but some, reorganizing and redecorating. So my space does appear to be more open and bigger. You can see more of like the space that I'm working with, but I still need more space. I still want to provide more retail. I don't have enough space on my retail wall. I need more. I need more. And God forbid you're one of those clients who love double booking. You get one chair. That's all you get is one chair. You may have room for 1 or 2 waiting area type of chairs. And with Corona going on and with social distancing, most people don't feel all that comfortable with double booking, client wise. Some clients don't want to be double booked based on who the other person is. If it's someone you've both been coming to your salon for a while, they know each other, they're fine with it. But if you're just now starting out and still building your clientele, a lot of your clients may not know each other. That does pose a little bit of a problem. And when things get even worse in terms of COVID and having to only have so many people, like when you have a certain cap on your capacity limit, if you have a single loft, you cannot double book. You can only double book if you have a double loft. And with the double loft, you're paying double the amount of rent. So for instance, if you pay $100 a month for a double, you're paying $200 a month. Now I'm just throwing that number out there because I don't know not one loft that's $100 a month. Realistically, they're about $200. So that means you're paying $400 a week, which is close to $1,600 a month. That's more than a lot of people's mortgages and rent. I don't want to say a lot of people, but that's some people. Like for instance, me, my suite rent is more than my apartment rent. It's wild to me, like absolutely wild. But it's your money maker, so you do what you got to do. In a nutshell, most of the cons that have experienced are just limitations. You're limited by rules, you're limited by space, and you're limited by the other stylists that are around you. But that doesn't mean it's still not a good decision if you're thinking about getting you a salon suite. Another con is that they take the rent out weekly, but I realize that's just a community standard. But if you're leasing an actual space, you're paying monthly rent, not weekly. But you know, to each his own. Some people enjoy paying weekly instead of monthly. It depends on the person, it depends on your wants and needs. Some of those things could potentially be deal breakers for me if I was dead set on having natural space, if I was dead set on having a window, if I knew for a fact, like if I wasn't in a position where I was growing my clientele, if I already had a full ass book of clients and I was already double booking, it would probably be an issue for me, and I don't know if I would have went this route. But it's really good to get your toes wet, kind of get your feet in the water, and understand the inner workings of running your own business and having your own salon. It is definitely something that I would consider the step before I go into owning a brick and mortar salon. So if you're wanting to open a salon suite, here are all the reasons why you should go ahead and open up that suite. Everybody loves to hear the pros. Everybody wants to know why they should do something. They don't want to know why they shouldn't do it. So that's why I save this part for last. Anyway, the pros of having a salon suite. Since we talked about finances, the lease is only a year. When I was looking into renting bigger spaces, like actual brick and mortar type spaces, I would have had to sign a multiple year lease, which it still benefits me if you think about it, because you have to put in a lot of time, energy, effort, money, just resources into opening a salon space. The plumbing, I hear that's a bia. Do people still use that word anymore? Anyway, I hear plumbing is a pain in the butt when it comes to building out and opening a salon. A lot of times, if people are going to rent big spaces for their salon, it's usually a place that was already a salon. And honestly, for me, I'm not trying to come out of the upwards of anywhere from $20,000 to $50,000 for a space that I'm only going to be in for a year. So that's definitely a benefit, is the lease is only a year. Everything is done for you. It's practically turnkey, you know. You sign your lease, you get your key, and they've done all the hard work for you. They already have the plumbing together, they give you a hooded dryer, and they paint for you. That was another pro, is that they'll paint for you once. You get 2 colors. And if you want anything extra, or if you decide to change your paint, you can either do it yourself or you can pay them to do it for you. For instance, when I moved, I had them take everything out because I didn't want any of their stuff. I had my own vision and own ideas for my space. So they took down the cabinets, the mirrors, everything for me. And I didn't have to pay for it because it was my first move in. So if I want them to put anything else up for me, I would have to pay them for that. The other thing when it comes to having a salon suite is everything is included in your lease. Whereas if you have a brick and mortar, you have to pay all of the extra bills and utilities. You have to pay for water, heat, electric, gas, internet, insurance, and you know, of course, there are some places that you can find where they will work in some of those smaller bills with your lease, but be prepared to pay every single bill if you don't go the salon suite route. For me, I get free marketing, I get a free website, I get a free booking site. Although there are a few caveats to that, and there are a lot of people that have salon suites that don't use the salon suites booking site because you have to still kind of pay in the end. But that's another thing. They pay for ads for you. They promote your business, and in return, you just give them a little kickback called the finder's fee. And it's anywhere from, it basically is, it doesn't go over $24 or $25, I believe. And it's a one-time fee per client. If that makes sense, I hope I explained that right. And some locations also give you free education. with COVID going on, and I believe I personally have not had any free classes at all, and that was one of the main reasons why I signed up for Salon Loss. But that just kind of goes to show your success can't ride on anybody else. You know, you still have to go out and get your own education. Don't depend on someone else to hand you free education, because I did not get any education through Salon Loss. The education I got was through the distributors and the salon supply stores that I go to. So basically, all I have to pay for, I pay my rent, but other than that, all I have to pay for is my supplies and whatever else I want to provide for my clients. And it's also a really good way to get started, because since you don't have to pay so much up front, I feel like having a salon suite or starting out with a salon suite is a good start, because you don't have to come out of so much money up front. You only have to pay your deposit and your weekly rent. And that gives you time to put your resources towards other things like education, like getting supplies, you know, trying out new techniques, new color lines are expensive, and when you want to dabble and dibble into another color line, if you love it and you want to use more of it, that can cost you anywhere from $600 to $1,800 just to buy all the colors you might need, all the developers, God forbid you want to use lightener and toner. All of those things cost money. And if you are too busy putting that money towards plumbing and you don't have enough for those other things that you need, you're going to be in a pinch, you're going to be stuck, and you're going to be stressed out. I just love that it was less money up front. In terms of the space, it is smaller, but I do think that since this is a beginner step for me, less space to manage was best for me at the time. I also really like that with the Salon Suite model, you still get to network and you still get to meet other loft owners. You still get to ask them for help. They'll come ask you for help, and you still have a sense of camaraderie similar to what you may have in a salon. Again, I've never worked in a salon. I've never done booth rent. I've never done commission. So all of these pros and cons I'm telling you are solely based on my experience. I'm not comparing them to other experiences of mine, because I have not lived those experiences. I'm basically just telling you in comparison to if you want to go out on your own, and just what I've noticed and what I've liked and not liked. So take this and kind of apply it to where it fits into your story to decide if whether or not you should go out and lease a suite or not. But I love, like I said, less money up front, less space to manage, just less work for me to do besides hair. Lastly, the other thing that I really liked is that with the salon suites, they already have connections and relationships with the supply stores that you go to, so you get rent rewards. I know we just talked about how expensive color can be and how expensive products can be. For me, with Salon Lofts, we get 10% back for the baseline if we go to the store, and for us it's only 1 or 2 stores, but we get 10% back whenever we purchase from that store. They add it up monthly, and then they'll send it to us via email how many rent rewards we have, and we can use that towards our rent. There are some more premier brands and companies where you can get the upwards of 15, maybe 20% back. I personally don't use any of those brands, so I only get 10% back. But that's good, because I know with being an entrepreneur, a business owner, people worry about security. They worry about insurance. They worry about 401k. They worry about all of these things. And I believe I was in a group the other day, and the girl said she was leaving her suite because they don't pay maternity leave. And I personally, the suites around here have never talked about offering maternity leave. But if you want to go on a vacation or a leave, I strongly suggest when you rent a suite to save up those rent rewards for when you need them for a rainy day or because you want to have a little fun. So basically, those are all of my pros, and those were all of the reasons why I decided to go out and get a salon suite. I do not regret my decision whatsoever. I do feel like as you grow and evolve, things change, your needs, your wants change, and you have to act accordingly. I've considered getting a double salon suite with 2 chairs, but I don't know. We're gonna see how it goes. I'm still weighing out my options in terms of these pros and cons myself. But yeah, overall, I do not regret it one bit. For me, at the time, the pros definitely outweighed the cons. I'll be sure to go in depth a little bit more in my blog post, so be sure to check out my pros and cons blog post if you want to see these pros and cons listed out, or if you want to have like a more in-depth reasoning behind the pro and con. I want to keep this video short, so that's all I have for you today. I hope this video really gave you some insight to whether or not you should open a salon suite or not, and what the pros and cons are. Let me know down below what your pros and cons are for a suite if you're currently in one, and if you're considering one, let me know what you think your pros and cons are, and then we can kind of help each other out from there. I hope you guys have a nice day. Don't forget to please subscribe to my channel. It means so much to me to have your support, and also consider liking the video and hitting the bell so you can get notifications every time I post. All of the feedback that you guys give me kind of helps me know that I'm putting out content that you guys love and that you want to hear. As you all know, I don't want to waste any time making content that's not benefiting you guys or entertaining you guys or just helping you in general. So that being said, I hope you guys have a wonderful day, and I'll see you in the next video. Bye.
I see it, I want it, I gotta have it.